Hello and welcome to our next edition of our series of APA format screencast. Today I'd like to talk about the reference, so how to do references in APA format, and then your reference page for your journal article report. So let's take a look at some of the basic components of your reference. And if we look here, I've posted some samples, so I just like to kind of talk through each one. It will depend on your article, obviously, that you finally choose what your reference looks like, but this will give you kind of a basic format. And then if you have any other questions or have kind of specific uniquenesses to your particular article, we can certainly talk about it beyond that. But this will kind of serve as our main resource for references. All right, so let's take a look. Here's I have a couple different scenarios here. If you have one author, two authors, two or more authors, so we'll talk about that here in a minute. But let's start with kind of the general format that you find here with one author. And first thing you'll notice is left margin is 1 inch, and then again your right margin will also be set at 1 inch. And when you start your reference, you'll be at the left margin and you start with the authors, in this case the author, and you have last name of the author, comma, first initial period, second initial period. You then have the year in parentheses with a period. You then have the title of the article that you have found, and notice the title of your article starts with a capital letter and then lowercase throughout. You'll also notice double spacing as we go through the whole reference. And also all the lines except for the first line are indented. And again, this will be your 1/2 of an inch indent here. So again, just sort of a general formatting. Once you have the title of your article, period, then you'll have the title of your source, or the journal, and in this case, the Journal of Experimental Psychology. You'll type it all out just the way it appears, again, without abbreviation, the way it appears on your article. And again, notice a couple things. You've got uppercase and lowercase letters just as they appear, and it's also italicized. Okay. We go double space to the next line to finish out the title of the source or the journal, comma. Then we have italicized the volume, no space in between, just next is your start of your parentheses, the volume, the issue or the number, end parentheses, comma, and then the start of the page numbers, with a dash, end of the page number, and a period. All right, so this is kind of the general format. If I go to two authors, so let's move this up. This is for two authors, and you'll notice similar in terms of the format, left and right, double spaced, right, indent 1/2 of an inch, but we have the author's last name, comma, first initial, period, second initial period, comma, ampersand sign, the second author's last name, comma, first initial, period, second initial, period, and so on. The year in parentheses with a period, again, the title exactly the way it appears for the way in your article, the way it appears. Noticing that if you have kind of a split title with a colon, the only word that then is capitalized is the first letter of the second part of that particular title, and then a period. Double space down to an indent to the source, comma, volume in italics, as is the source of the journal, no space, volume or issue, I'm sorry, I keep saying that. The 2 is the volume, the 34 is the issue or the number, and that's in parentheses, comma. first page or the start of the page of the article, dash, end, and then a period. All right, so again, you'll see similar format, a little bit different components in that one. And then we'll move down to, for 2 or more authors. And again, if you have 12 authors, there's a specific way you can do this. Again, if you have something kind of unique, we can certainly talk about it. So let's just go through it again. First author's name, first initial, second initial, period, comma. Second author, and again, these go in the way that they are presented, not in alphabetical order. Even though they kind of look that way, it's actually in the way that they are presented in the article. Last author's name, comma, and in this case, there's only one initial, which is fine. Just use the one initial, period, comma, ampersand, sign. Then the last author, comma, first initial, second initial, period. Your year, your title of your article. Again, notice the difference here with where the title is. And then you come through and you have your source. You have the volume. Oops, sorry about that. You have the volume, the number of the issue, comma, pages. And in this case, I've added, and then period, excuse me, at the end of the pages. And then you have what's called the DOI number. And most articles will have this. Some don't yet, but if you have it and want to post it, this is the format. It would be after, it would show up after the complete citation. Then you have the HTTPS, and then it's kind of hard to see. It should be a colon there. I don't know if that's a semicolon. It should be a colon. And then the rest of the DOI. So that gives you an idea of what a source might look like, again, with a couple of different a couple of different aspects to it that you can kind of review and then compare to your particular article. Here I've done a list of, here's a few of the different things that to think about before you do your reference page to double check. And then below here, I'm going to arrow down. This is a sample of an actual title page, like we'll be using in your journal article report. Remember, there's only one reference. There's only one source that you are using for this assignment. So you just have a reference. And again, I put that on reference page rather than references. If you had more, obviously you'd have plural. So again, notice on here your 1-inch margins. Your first line has your page number, whatever page number that happens to be. Double spaced only down will be then the word reference, or again, if you have more for other assignments, references, and notice it's bold. Double spaced down, here's all of our authors. Here's the year. Here's the title of the article with the colon, period, the journal title, comma, volume, issue or number, comma, start of the page and end of the page, period. So this gives you a real good look at what your reference page, which again will be the last page of your journal article report, what that will look like. And again, based on your individual article, you'll be able to see some of the permutations, of course, the differences that occur. And you can always ask me if you have questions. I'm happy to take a look at drafts, but hopefully this will be a good start for you. You can also, if you have questions, go to the OWL at Purdue website that talks about references, and that's kind of a good source. Maybe before you ask me, double check that resource, because that might be something you'll use into the future. But I'm more than welcome, more than happy, and you are more than welcome to have me double check the formatting on that, especially if you have something that looks a little bit different in terms of your article. All right, I hope that's been helpful. Thank you for taking 10 minutes or so to learn about references and APA formatted reference page for your journal article report. Again, please do let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to reading your papers. All right, thanks everyone. See you soon in class.